gosh, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tando. How you doing?
Oh my gosh, I am so excited. I wish you knew.
Yeah, same. Very excited and ready to go. Fire in the building. Boom.
Yes. Boom, it is. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry to wake you up. I know it is early morning where you are. Well, on my end, it is actually 11 p.m., but I'm just glad
Oh,
that you managed to join us. Yeah.
no, nah, it don't matter. It's always a pleasure. So, we hardly sleep when it's work time.
Exactly right. By the way, I am a huge fan of A Team. You can ask our team,
Oh,
and they're like, I'm coming on Amanda. We tell like what do you call it? Sending through a song request. You're guaranteed it is actually A Team.
nah, man, thank you so much. That means so much to me. It's like I think that was my first single that I released off my first album. So since it's making so much impact till now, that
Yeah.
means the world to me. Thank you so much.
Ah, that is so awesome. And we're going to dive right into the questions to get to know when you started music, when you started doing ATM. But before we get to that, do you mind bringing our listeners up to speed with your upbringing? I know Don Dada is your stage name, your real name, a little bit about your background. Who is Don Dada?
All right. Well, my name is Don Datta. Real name is Menlik Nestle Gibbons. I'm a multi-platinum hip hop reggae artist based in Johannesburg, South Africa. Born in Harare, Zimbabwe. Representing I think the whole continent, the whole SADC region, just flying the flag for Africa right there. From hip hop to reggae music, performing at Bob Marley's house, to a whole host of things. Like it's early in the morning, so it's hard to think about all the things I done did. And I did a lot of things. I tell you that right now.
Right, right.
So yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg of who Don Dada is. I'm also a radio show host. I do a lot of charity work and I work in a lot of communities trying to uplift underprivileged children and as well as my music. So that's just a little bit of who I am.
Ooh, that is so cool. And the one thing that I liked that you mentioned and also did research on, like when it came to charity work, and the one thing that I actually noticed that you did for the women, I mean, like the young girls giving away pads and all that jazz, we will get into that and get to know more of that side of you. But seeing that you're not new to the scenes and have been doing music for quite a while, how has it been? Uh, how has been your upbringing influenced your music?
I mean, music is quite a testing career for anyone to choose. I think that it'll really put you to the test when it comes to your moral values and your upbringing and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
For me, it has always stood me in good stead. I think my mom and my father have always been behind me throughout my career.
Mm.
And my upbringing has always taught me to have respect for anyone and everyone that I encounter. And that has only just put me in a better position to take my career forward. I think music is something that you cannot judge anyone by the way they look or by what they be doing because you do not know who anyone is. So
Right.
my upbringing really has helped me to take myself forward because I think humbleness is the key to success in music.
That is so true. Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. And so, what inspired you though to get into music to begin with, really?
Oh, I just love music. I think
Mm.
my first song I recorded professionally, I was 13 years old. That
Wow.
was released on Hype magazine, King of the Bedroom, because I wasn't on a label and I didn't have a full album at the time. So they had to make a specific section in the magazine for me.
Nice.
But yeah, music has always been something that it's just been attractive to me since I was young. I remember in all my school books, if you look in the front, there's schoolwork. You look in the back, there's songs. So that's that's
That is so amazing. And which school is that? Which school did you go
oh, I
to?
went to so many different schools. I went to Avondale Primary. I
Mm.
went to Park Senior, Park Junior. I went
Mm.
to Ferndale. I went to Forest High School. I went to Damlin.
Wow.
I was on a tour of high schools,
Right.
basically. I was
I like that. That is so funny. So, are there any local musician artists? Well, by local, I mean let's say Zimbabwean musical artists saying that you're based in SA. So are there any Zimbabwean musical artists that you look up to or that inspire you in regards to music?
Definitely. When I started my career, actually, one of my uncles, old school OG, and Uncle Andy Brown. I don't know if you remember the
What?
legend. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Andy Brown. So he really inspired me to take my music quite far. I remember I was 14. I did a remix of the song Mapolisa. So
Mhm,
it was a quite a legendary moment.
mhm.
You look at Amara Brown. She's such an amazing artist.
Yeah.
Zimbabwe music is just it's quite a passion-filled experience because
Mhm.
they may not be making the type of money as their counterparts in South Africa or Nigeria or whatever it is, but they
Yeah.
have more passion for making music than any
Absolutely.
of the artists that I've encountered in the entire continent. So
Mhm.
Zimbabwe really teaches me to have love for your craft, and that's something that I pick up from all of the artists and I try and carry over here. I have to also say rest in peace to my brother Herbie Dangerous. We had numerous songs together, and he
Mhm.
passed away unfortunately a year or two ago.
Oh, rest.
Man, Zimbabwe hip hop is such a complicated and crazy space. You look at MC
Absolutely.
Cheetah, he's been doing crazy things from way back in the beginning.
Yeah.
Takura, shout out to him. He's always doing fire. Boy got good things all the time. So I
Yeah.
give him much love.
Yeah.
Man, Zim music is just something that I feel is underrated in the world. Like the world needs to hear what we're doing because we are powerful. Believe that.
That is so true. But then how best do you think that like you mentioned just now to say Kuti, it's we have Zimbabweans in Zimbabwe who are talented, but they're not being recognized as much as other artists, say maybe in South Africa, or being paid their value of their talent, right? How best can we can that change really, so to speak? What's the barrier between what the Zimbabweans are doing versus Zimbabweans in, say, maybe South Africa, our neighboring country? Mhm.
I think that, firstly, South Africa is such a lucky place because you look at something like DSTV. DSTV encompasses the whole continent. So if
Mhm.
you get your music onto DSTV, you're pretty much guaranteeing that from South Africa to Morocco, your music's going to be playing. They're going to know your music. Now,
Right.
Zimbabwean artists don't have such a luxury or such opportunities. They've got to try and submit their music to these DSTVs and different platforms and hope that it gets played. And I mean, to be very honest with you, there's maybe three Zimbabwean artists that really get recognition on those platforms, and the rest of the people fall into the cracks. A way for us to go about changing these things, I think you look at the internet right now. The internet is crashing all of these platforms. DSTV is dying because of Netflix. A lot of these places are just seeing a whole revolution happening because of the internet. So I think Zimbabwe has to now start relying on all of these new platforms and start, taking the lead. If you look at us with our mobile money, we were the
Mm.
first in Africa to come out with money that was on a cell phone without having to have actual cash in your hand. So we've been innovators from the beginning. No
Mhm.
matter what the problem has been, we've become innovators to get over it. And I think with the music, we just have to do the same thing. I think we look at the African Zimbabweans within the diaspora. We look at the UK. We look at Australia. We look at Canada. We look at New Zealand. We have to find ways to connect with these people, perform for them, give them our music, and go to these countries and physically touch base with them because that is where our fan base is, and this is where we need to grow our brands.
Right. And I hope people too are also willing to expose themselves to people too, right? Because some people, I think the thing of fear is a
Yeah.
barrier too, right? Fear to say, oh my gosh, what if this person says no to me? And one no is not the whole world's no, but it creates a bit of fear. But
Yeah.
I hope
No,
it.
no, you make 100% sense. But one thing that I'm 100% sure about is fear does not overcome hunger. So just be hungry enough. You
Ah,
speak
I
to
like
me.
that. That is so, so true. And those who are just tuning in, guys, thank you so much for tuning into Tough Love Giggles right here on After Five Radio. We're being joined by the talented Don Dada, who happens to be a radio personality as well as a philanthropist. And we're going to dash into that side of his world as well. But the main reason why we're hanging out with him today is because we want to learn and understand his musical journey, how he became who he is now, and why we're actually sitting down with here right about now. And we're so grateful for the words of wisdom that he's given us, because he's actually based in South Africa, and he's actually gotten to live in Zimbabwe and South Africa and to see the difference between how people in Zimbabwe make music and how people in South Africa make music. And thank you so much, Don, for being a part of our Tough Love Giggles.
No, much love, much love. It's such a pleasure to be here. Really enjoying myself. You know what I mean? Early morning stretch. That's what we're doing right now.
Yes, I like that. I like that. So to move on, we were talking about your first album, which had the single 18. When was it? When did you start? When did you release your first album? Let's start with that. When did you release your first album?
Okay, so my first album, I think it was 2016, if I'm not mistaken. First commercial album, but if you have to rewind time, I was releasing mixtapes and working as an engineer in studio from 2007, 2008.
Okay.
So it's been quite a long journey when it comes to the music thing. I think my first release, that now you're taking me back, like maybe you're looking at 2006 when I did the first song, what was it called? For What It's Worth on Hype Magazine. I even forgot the name of the song. That's so way back. But 2006, yeah.
Always do a lot. Of course, you're bound to forget some of those things, yo.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's a lot of drops. It's a lot of songs. But I pride myself in knowing each and every one of my lyrics, each and every one of my songs. I mean, it's a part of you. So how can you forget a part of who you are? You know what I mean?
That is so true. So do you write your own music? Is that it?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I write my own music. I try and do as much myself as possible. From writing, production, recording, engineering, as much as I can do.
All right, that is so awesome. And we just mentioned that not only are you a musical artist, but also a radio personality and a philanthropist. Let's talk about the radio personality bit. I was actually surprised.
Oh,
But
okay.
at the same time, the voice suits it. Suits it. It is actually a radio voice, so you know. So I'm like, okay, I'm not surprised.
That's how I got the job. I went for an interview. They're like, "We like your voice. You want to work here?" I was like, "Okay." That sounds fun. So I
Right?
started doing a hip hop show called Hip Hop for Life. It was happening every Friday from
Yeah.
6 to 8 p.m. Because of COVID and lockdown, I had to put the show on the back burner because it is an interview-based show, and I'll be exposing myself to a whole bunch of different artists. So it was difficult to continue. But what I would do is I would take up-and-coming artists and I would pair them together with artists that are already established, big artists within the Johannesburg music scene, and we just have a big 2-hour conversation about how you see the South African music industry developing as an up-and-coming artist and as an already an established artist. How do you help artists to establish their careers and to grow themselves? Because as an artist, I think it's very important to give back to the communities, because everybody takes from communities, everybody gets record sales from communities, that they take what they can, but what do you give back to these same communities? So I put an extra emphasis and focus onto that.
That is so cool.
Oh, I almost
Okay.
forgot about the reggae. I do reggae as well, and that's on Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. It's been such a crazy journey. It's called Inna the Trenches. I've started interviewing the legends of reggae music. So if you have a look on the Instagram, I've recently had the legendary Empress, Miss Marcia Griffiths, which comes from the I3 backing singer for Bob Marley and the Wailers. And then I also did an interview this past Friday with
Yeah.
Fred Locks, who is
Oh,
a
wow.
legend in reggae music with his tune Black Star Liner from 1964. I also did an interview with Andrea Davis, who's the founder of International Reggae Day. and I've become a partner, a media partner of International Reggae Day. So we're helping to take Reggae Day forward within the African region. And yeah, man, just building. I do so much. You're lucky you call me in the morning, because you catch me in the evening, I don't remember half.
Time that I can get to talk to people, and I'm like, and like it's actually a good way of starting out your day, really, getting to talk to other people before you get to focus in your own stuff. And I know when people get busy, you're like, I do not want any distractions, but we truly appreciate you making time to be on Tough Love Giggles.
Oh man, it's an honor and a privilege to be here. Beautiful vibes, and anything for Zimbabwe, we keep the flag flying high. You know what time it is. Boom, after 5 radio.
Yes, and we thank you for your jingles as well. And that is so good to learn. It's so good to learn, like every project that you're doing, you're always on the go, go, go. And with that being said, how do you make time for all of that? Do you not have a family, as in like your husband? I mean, I'm like husband, a wife, and children. Like how do you manage your time?
Well, oh man, I guess I'm just blessed by Jah, because everything just
Mm,
falls into the right timing and right order that it needs to be done.
mm,
I don't have a wife or a girlfriend, unfortunately, but I do have a 12-year-old daughter. So whatever free time I do have, I spend all my time with my daughter. That's my princess. That is little girl, you know.
yeah,
So yeah, and then I've got my father, my mom. They help me to juggle everything around me. So I
yeah,
think that's basically how I get so much time on my hands.
right.
Um, Music is a very strange thing, because for maybe a month, 2 months, you can be sitting and you can have all the time in the world. And then for the next month, you will have not 1 second to yourself.
Wow.
So it's one of those type of things where when you got time, you have to use it to the fullest that you can, because when you don't have time, you'll know about it.
Oh, absolutely. And so before the pandemic, did you perform, did you have any live performances at all, or?
Oh, before the pandemic, I was doing some crazy things. I was making inroads into the Caribbean. We had performed at Bob Marley's house for his birthday celebrations. We had done, bless you, we had done other shows in Jamaica, Kingston.
Mm,
Um, Following that, I'd also done some tours in Zimbabwe, in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Malawi. We had also completed tours of the entire regions of South Africa, especially the eastern coast, talking about Richards Bay and those type of areas. So I was doing quite a lot of work. And lockdown came, and you know what? A lot of people were stuck in their houses, but it didn't change a lot for me. I was doing a lot, and I still am doing a lot of virtual performances.
mm.
Whether you're talking about International Reggae Day, performing alongside the likes of Busta Rhymes, or you talk about, yeah, I've just been doing a whole bunch of virtual performances. So we have to continue to grow the brand, and continue to put the name out there. I think as a musician, it's something like being a shark. If a shark stops swimming, stops going forward, a shark dies. So you got to keep swimming and keep going forward, no matter what it is. Whether you have to use the internet, whatever you got to use, you got to do it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, with the performances that you've been doing, like during the pandemic, have they been virtually, or the moments that you've had like social distance
Oh
events?
no, no, virtually, I don't trust nobody like that.
I like that. I like that. Safety first. Thank you very much. No, that is so awesome. And let's talk about the giving side of you, the humanity, the humanitarian side of you, philanthropist side of you. Let's talk about that. Like, what kind of charity work do you do? Like, I see you also support young girls. Is there anything else beyond that? Or do you do anything different or just the same?
Well, for me, it's basically I focus on the youth. So whether it's young ladies or young men or just the youth in general, I try and motivate them. I work with a group called the Saeed Foundation that goes to underprivileged areas. We have a bus that breaks down into a stage, and we do performances, we do talent shows, we give out cash prizes to the children that win the talent shows. Then I take the children from the wherever the event has been, and the following week I bring a couple of them, will say the winners and two of the runner-ups. I bring them to my studio. I expose them to what a professional studio is like. I also do an interview for all of them so that they can get their first interviews in their career. And then we try our best to motivate them and promote them and just to keep them on the right path. And a lot of these areas, you're talking about areas that has a lot of gang influence. There's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of poverty, a lot of hunger, a lot of unemployment. So the arts is one way to keep the kids on a straight and narrow. So we do take it quite seriously. And it's something that we will continue to do. When you look at the young ladies, we also have to promote, you know, there's been a lot of gender-based violence within South Africa and the world, especially. And then lockdown came, and the gender-based violence got even worse. And so we have to give our helping hand to these ladies. We have to show that we're there to support them. You know, as a man, you have to also show that we are here to protect our women. I think that now men have a very different outlook or a different way of showing their love to women. So we're trying to bring back that old school, say you show your love for the woman, protect the woman, be there for your woman, and for the girl children especially, because problems begin from childhood. It doesn't just appear when you're an adult. So look after them from young, and you're looking at a better future for the next generation. So we try and do that.
Wow, that is so powerful. And speaking of, just to add on, even like what you said on the girl child, because it's one thing to say, okay, face things, I mean, come get to or maybe something happens to you at an older age, at least you're able to maneuver whatever it is that may come your way, right? Because you grew up with that protection, you know there's not supposed to be done to you, versus when you get abused at a young age, you end up thinking it's normal and anybody can come towards you and you won't be able to respect your body because guess what? It is the norm that you think it is, right? But then, like you're saying, it is a good initiative to say, okay, we're protecting our girl child from a young age so that they know that they're not supposed to be treated that way. And the older they get, they know, no, this is abuse. You cannot do that to me. And we truly appreciate your work in that, because not a lot of people, even especially coming from men, who would actually stand up for the girl child and say, no, we need to protect our little sisters. We need to protect our daughters, because that is exactly what we need. That is why the man was created, to protect the woman. And we thank you so much for that.
No, thank you very much, Ntando. It means the world to me. I mean, like I said, I have a 12-year-old daughter, and I would hate for anyone to bring any type of harm in her direction. And I guess for me, it begins with that note. It begins with that thought process, but it extends further beyond the girl child, because we do note that the male children are also getting abused, and there's a whole bunch of things that are happening. So that's why I say our initiative encompasses youth in totality. We look at all youth and we protect all youth. And if anyone's watching right now, let me tell you something. You do anything to the youth, I mean, catch you.
I like that. You heard it right here on After Five. Actually, that's why it's called Tough Love Giggles. Tell them, Don Datta. Tell them. No, that is so cool. That is so cool. But on a lighter note, after this intense conversation, and the fact that you said you're not married and you do not have a girlfriend. On a lighter note, who's your celebrity crush? Just to ease off.
I try my best to keep it always homebound, man. Kim Jade, come on, Kim, girl.
Yay, Kim Jade. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. She's amazing. She is doing big moves.
You know what I mean? She's with the wrong Don Datta. She's doing things with material Don Datta. You gotta holler at original Don Datta. That man, they married from Zim. He ain't from Zim. Holla at me. Original thing this.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. It's so funny. Oh my gosh. Yes, shout out to Kim Jade. We actually had Kim Jade get interviewed by our amazing Miss Samantha Claire this one time. Oh my gosh, she's such a down-to-earth individual, Kim Jade. I was like, wow. I truly love that girl.
Nah, she is. She does so much to fly the flag of Zimbabwe. She makes us so proud at any moment and every turn. So I got so much love for her. And actually, the interview you talking about, I called in at that interview. I called in. I said, hey, came out there, I'm calling. Yeah, man, I never call nobody. So I'm telling you right now, Kim J, that's gonna be wifey. I'm telling you.
There
I'm
you go.
putting it out there for the universe. The universe knows that's gonna be
Yes.
wifey right there.
And you know what? Speak of the law of attraction, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And it's low because I'm attractive. So we winning.
Two attractive people. Yes, I second that. Oh my gosh, that is so hilarious. So, what has been the most memorable moment about your career so far? Music, your philanthropy work, as well as in media.
Man, there's been just so many record-breaking things. First thing that jumps to mind was performing with Ja Praiser at
What?
the ICP International in Zimbabwe for the inauguration of Emerson,
Yeah.
our second inauguration of our president, the first inauguration of Robert Mugabe that had Robert Nesta Marley, Bob Marley performing on that stage. That's when he met my mom. And they spoke with my mom, and that's how I got my middle name, Menlik Nesta Gibbons, Robert Nesta Marley. So that's where that comes about. And then you look at so many years later, second inauguration, second Rastaman Pandi stage. I was
Mhm.
there representing for the reggae music, so that's great. Also
Representing.
performing, all right, perform in South Africa's parliament, the first artist to perform in South Africa's parliament. That was also quite an amazing achievement. Also to perform at Bob Marley's house. I think that was also quite amazing. I mean, you hear about Bob Marley, someone that we all grew up listening to. We idolized the man. And to go to his actual house, I mean, the house where you hear about him being shot and all of that in Hope Road, Jamaica, Kingston, it was just a surreal experience. And to meet Miss Cindy Breakspear, Damian Marley's mom, that
Mhm.
was just also quite an amazing experience. And just to speak with her was beautiful. Man, just too many beautiful experiences, too many beautiful experiences. Meeting people like Herbie Dangerous, who made so much history for Zimbabwean music, was such a blessing. Just before the brother had passed away, I spent time with him, and just to see what his mind state was like, and to see the development of Zimbabwean music. That's just been also such a blessing, because as a youth, your thing is always about taking your country forward, taking your people forward, and to see brothers that actually achieved the dream, it's just been an amazing experience. So that's just one or two of the things that really touched my heart as I've
Wow,
been
I can
working.
imagine more, yo. I can imagine mom like, okay, okay, this is a prominent individual, guys, just so you know. If you tuned in, you have the honors to actually the same way I have the pleasure and honor to be hanging out with Don Dada. And thank you so much for your time, and even just to get to know your most memorable moment of your career. So what's your favorite way to unwind after a very hard day, saying that you're such a busy person, you have a whole lot going on for you?
I love video games. I love video games so much.
I would have never guessed.
I've been a gamer since I've been a kid. Like from Golden
Nice.
China, those Nintendo 64 bits. I'm an avid gamer.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to build my own little arcade at the house. That's gonna be my next project with all the consoles that ever existed. That's my next thing that I'm on. Spending time with
Nice.
my daughter. That's my way of unwinding. My daughter is my solitude.
Yeah.
She's my place to be. It's my sanctuary. So,
Right.
as a single father, yeah, man, you got to spend as much time as you can with your daughter. I love it so much. She's so funny. She's interesting. 12-year-old girls, they're
Yeah.
funny, man. They got they
Especially
got
today's
jokes.
generation, you're like, holy, I cannot wait to see my kid and what they will be doing in their times. And because their generation, the generation today, you're like, God, I can't keep up. But that's
No,
quite
but my daughter's very old school. I brought her up with the way that I was brought up in them, so she knows very well. I just look at her as a Dogrova. She says, Daddy, I'm come now.
nice, exactly. I know when we give those words and the look as well, they're like, okay,
Yeah.
we no, that is so awesome. And our second from last question, what advice do you have for someone, let's say, okay, not, let me rephrase this question. What advice that do you wish you would have had from somebody when you started music that you now know now to say, I wish I had known this before?
Like it was just a very quick one. It's just that like someone should have just turned around and be like, that doesn't pay, right? Like something just simple. I'd be like, okay, I see you, OG.
And but then look at this though. Look at how really the reason why the industry in sim especially wasn't growing was because of that though. I
Exactly.
don't know
That's why I
who
spoke
are
about.
you around though? Who are you around
Yeah,
for people not to tell you that?
yeah. Look, that's why I spoke about passion and having love for what you do.
Yeah,
Empress Marcia Griffiths, she spoke about the same thing.
yeah,
And I mean, this is a lady that toured with Bob Marley and everything. So
yeah.
if you don't have love for what you're doing,
Mhm.
there's no point in doing it. It's
Absolutely.
it's it's not gonna work out, especially something like music, because music comes from deep within the soul. My father says this to me all the time. He says, music is one of the few things where you can create something without destroying anything. So if you're not happy in that state of creation, then your
Mhm.
creation is not gonna be beautiful. It's gonna
Oh,
be a
you
funny
know.
creation. Yeah. So you have to have joy, you have to have happiness in your heart. And that's just something that I try and carry with me at all times. Now also you can't be happy 24/7. And music is encompassed of having all the emotions from sadness to happiness to love to anger. So I think it's knowing to recognize what emotion am I in and being able to verbalize those emotions, to put it down on pen and paper, because okay, experiencing them is one thing, but can you verbalize what you're experiencing? When you can do that, you're on the path to greatness.
Woo! And this is the moment that I was about to say, okay, what advice can you give? But you've just done it. Like you've just done it. And that is so powerful. Thank you so very much. So could you mind sharing, do you mind sharing with the listeners your social handles where people can find you, where they can listen to you in regards to music? Because sometimes I can't seem to find some other music that's on YouTube, on Spotify. So do you mind letting the listeners know where they can find you, your music?
100%. So I am on YouTube Music, Spotify, Deezer, iTunes, every digital platform that is streaming music. Just have a look for Don Datta Music. If you don't have dreadlocks, it's not me. I'm telling you right now. There's too
But
many
I
of them
had to
fake Don
change my
Datta
hair
things
for
on
the
it.
for the interview.
That's what I'm talking about. If I had my sound effects right now, it's gonna be like, you're doing your thing, Thando. Keep on representing. That's beautiful. My music is on every platform. If you're looking for me on social media, my handle is always the same. It's at Don Datta Music. I'm having a fight right now with Facebook. They tried to remove my fan page because they're haters on real stuff, but it's cool because we're getting everything back again. So show me love, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you can. And matter of fact, put pressure on Facebook too. Y'all my people, put
Yes,
pressure on
we will
Facebook. They need
definitely
to
do
show
that
us
now
love.
that we know. Now that we know, definitely we will do that. Oh my gosh. And thank you so much for sharing your social handles and for making time to come on After Five Radio. We thank you for everything that you do, all the jingles that you do for us as well. And everything that you do, man. I don't even know how to express my excitement, but it was such a pleasure and an honor to have you.
Thank you so much, Ntano. I really appreciate it. It's always an honor. After Five Radio, done on second home. Big thing, Agwan. Kim, hey, beautiful thing.
Hey,
See you later.
oh, that is awesome.
RIP and condolences to the family of DMX, man. I'm
Yeah.
such a huge fan. I am such a huge fan, and it's touched our hearts right now. Yesterday, I was watching the news right here in South Africa, and I even said to my mom, the entire nation is mourning because DMX came on and they were like, RIP to DMX. And then they had some things about the South African cricket team and stuff. And then they were like, oh, by the way, Prince Philip died. I was like, you see, we represent for our brothers. So that's
Imagine.
just the way it's out there.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's been a sad day, so to speak. Really, it was a sad day yesterday just hearing all these deaths. I was like, oh my gosh. And especially
Yeah.
DMX would have thought, right? Because it'd been
But
quite
Prince Philip old though. Prince Philip was old. That nigga was old. I think he knew Mandela when Mandela was in primary school. He was old. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
99.
that made a bit
99
of
is a
sense.
lot of years, yo.
That's what I'm saying. And plus, he was just he was a prince for 99 years. It's a tough
Imagine.
one.
Imagine.
I want to be a king at some stage, even if it's for 1 year, like 98 to 99, at least 1 year, I chance.
But you know what's funny? You know what's funny when I look at some of these things? I'm actually grateful to say I'm living to see. I hope I get to see Jesus come. That's the last part. But I lived to see our former president stepping down,
Yeah.
and having a new president. I never thought I'll see that. That's one. And I am going to live to see the queen stepping down, and
Oh,
yeah, so it's just one of those. And then now, I'm like, I hope I live to see Jesus come back.
yeah. I mean, anything is possible. After you start off with Mugabe, anything is possible from there. Like anything, anything can happen. You see
Tell
Jesus come
you.
back. Black man won F1. The black
Yeah.
team won the World Cup with France. Anything is possible now. We
Black
don't.
President Obama, who'd have thought that? This was such an amazing moment, and it was truly a pleasure and an honor to have you over yet again.
Much love.